Hello, listeners. Jestro here, hopping on over from the Ghost Dimension to tell you all about my new brand, Jestro's Intergalactic Pizza. Aliens gotta eat too, ghosts gotta eat too, Jestro's gotta eat too. I usually just feed on souls, but sometimes I just want something to wash them down, so I throw them on this delicious pizza, and I wash them down with it. So be sure to head on over to the Ghost Dimension and check out Jestro's Soul Pizza and get your hands on some of this deliciousness. Sprinkle a couple of souls on there. Help me! Help me! Shut up! You're going on my pizza whether you like it or not. Please don't eat me! Shut up! Oh, it's so tasty. So all you little demonic, ghostly alien figures that love to feast on innocent little souls, head on over to Jestro's Pizzeria and grab yourself a slice. Jestro out.
So, Spoken Truth, my homie for 2 years now. This is your first ever interview, I take it. When did you first start doing music?
I first started doing music back in 2012. I got into it a little bit before that, but it's always kind of been my passion to, at least write, do something with music. I took myself seriously, I'd say in the beginning of last year almost. That's when I just decided to, say, hey, you need to make money off of this somehow.
Right. And what would you say it was that drew you into music, that made you want to start doing music?
I just kind of grew up around it. I mean, one of my biggest influences would be Dr. Dre, and that should be kind of known at this point. There's a lot of other people too that, too many to name that
right,
kind of gave me inspiration. So, but he was one of my big ones. Compton, that whole thing, that's crazy.
Yeah, like that old school West Coast style.
Yeah.
Really, with the hard bass.
That's where it all, kind of started almost. I mean, a lot of people say that it started over in the East Coast. Not really. I mean, the West Coast had everybody. They had Tupac, they had Snoop Dogg. I mean, you name it.
Right. All the classics basically are from the West.
Right.
So what would you say, what is your thought process like when you're creating an instrumental or a beat?
Basically, I just kind of dive right into it. Whatever happens, happens. If it goes good, I usually keep it and mess around with it for a day or two. If it doesn't go that well, if I get a hit, that's a different story. Usually if I get a hit, it's done in like 30 minutes.
Right. And I know you've done some for me for like my parody ads and stuff like that on like ridiculously short notice and still managed to pull them off.
Yeah. Those are a little bit quicker because you don't really need a whole lot for an ad. Usually it's just like a short clip. So, you just kind of take it, cut it up, and then there you go.
Right. And you also worked on the instrumental that you sent me last night that I'm going to start using for like my YouTube and stuff like that. I'm actually going to debut that after your interview for people to listen to. What was your thought process like going into that one? Because that one has a different style than most of your beats. Like like I was talking to you earlier, and it has more of a dubstep feel. It sounds so sick, but it's a little bit different from stuff you've done before.
I kind of wanted to branch off into something that I don't normally do. Dubstep and hip hop, I kind of want to infuse together because not a lot of people are doing that. And I kind of wanted a more upbeat feel to the track, so that way it gets people to, actually listen.
Right, and it sound like whenever you did it, it sounds like you've done it your whole life. Like, it doesn't sound like it's your first time doing anything with dubstep. It sounds really good, and I think people are going to enjoy it.
Well, thank you. It's I'm still working on it. I mean, I'm not perfect at dubstep by any means. It's a whole new realm to me, honestly.
Yeah, but that's cool when you can do that as an artist, when you can kind of span off and start trying other things. It makes you like original, and it shows that you're still trying to grow and you're trying to open up and do different things.
Right. I mean, I've done other tracks too that I don't normally do. What I've gotten into recently is, blues and soul, just because it's a totally different sound than that just grimy, hard hip hop songs.
Right. And I also want to give you a chance. You do have an album, Fire and Ice, which was your debut album. I would want to give you a chance to talk about how you came up with the concept for that album.
All right. That concept I kind of came up with, I wanted some songs to be aggressive and then other songs to be kind of more emotional. Um, you know, then came the name Fire and Ice. I didn't want it to all be just one, constant type of song because that gets kind of tiring in itself. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's funny to me though, because like the first thing I think of when I think Fire and Ice is Scorpion and Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. That's like the instant image that comes to my brain. So I wouldn't have been surprised if you would have thrown a track like that in there.
Those games are classic. I didn't really think of it like that, but I kind of can see where you got it from.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been playing them for so long, so with that gamer in me automatically thinks gamer thoughts with like anything. Like even whenever I interviewed Kung Fu Vampire and I had his album art and we were talking about it, and I mentioned how it reminded me of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, a DLC, because of the 80s neon vibe that game had. So even his freaking crap was making me think of video games.
Now, I released that when I was still under Maniacal Melody Entertainment. I've since kind of drifted off. I won't say that I, quit or anything like that, and I'm not going to say anything, bad about them. It just kind of happened. I mean, they were doing their own thing, and I was doing mine, so just kind of grabbed it by the horns and went.
Right. And I guess you would say that now you've kind of switched over from the rapping into a bit more of the producing. What made you decide to make that change? Is it just something you enjoy more putting in and like creating the beats?
Yeah, and I just kind of got tired of, rapping. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, it's just you get bored with it. I mean, how many times can you rap about the same thing and, you can't come up with any new stuff anymore? I mean, you're just recycle the same stuff.
Right. So you basically wanted a change. It's something that you knew that you could constantly keep creating and not be stuck where you couldn't think of anything.
Right. I just wanted to, kind of challenge myself, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense because I know like a lot of artists, whenever they do new projects or whatever, they always want to challenge themselves to do something that can make them get better with each thing and continue to grow.
Right. I mean, that's what it should be.
Exactly. Now back to Fire and Ice. What are some of your favorite songs off that album that you really think listeners who may not have heard your music before would enjoy, that would kind of draw them into Spoken Truth?
That's a hard one.
I have a lot of those for everybody. Don't feel bad.
I guess I can say that I can't just pick one because the whole album is about me. I mean, there's not just one song where, hey, I'm just going to rap about, this, that, or the other thing. I just kind of made it about who I am and who I wanted people to see me as.
And thank you for that, because we have enough of the freaking rap out there today that's all about the same crap.
Yeah, it gets tiring, trust me.
This is why I prefer the underground.
I will say I hate mumble rap. That is my least favorite. It's tacky. It's just not my thing. I mean, if it's anybody else's thing, I'm not hating.
Right, to each their own. I've never even listened to it. I probably wouldn't even give it a chance. So.
Yeah, it's a new thing that everybody's into, and it just kind of gravitated towards it, and it is what it is. I'm myself included. I have to kind of twist it into my own thing. I've tried to make beats that sound like it, but aren't exactly it.
Right. What would you say as an artist that you would, if you were going to get back into the rap, which right now you're not because you're doing the other side of things, but if you did, who would you say would be an artist that you would like to collab with?
Oh, Jesus. There's a lot of people. One of my top ones would probably be Lil White if I could ever have a chance, but that's something that might, take some time to do, and we never know.
Right. But hey, it's like I always say, you never know unless you try. So.
Right. I mean, I might not fit into his category, but I think maybe, we could come up with something good. Even if he just raps over one of my beats, that would be my ultimate dream right there.
Right. That's what I was about to say. I was like, you're spoken truth, you make beats, you fit into everybody's category. They'll figure something out.
Right.
Do you have any projects that you're currently working on or that you're planning that you're looking forward to?
I've got a couple of things going on. I recently just hooked up with Leah Von Bell's music producer. I can't think of his name right now because he's so new in my mind. But, he hit me up today and he liked what he heard, and, he was like, are you trying to collab? And I'm just like, yeah, I've been looking for somebody too. And he was just like, let's get it. I'm like, all right. I guess that's that. There's another guy I just recently messaged who's trying to get a whole, album out. Again, he's kind of too new to remember, but, I'll get all that stuff out later. If you follow any of my stuff on Twitter, you'll find out. Just keep your eyes open, basically.
Right. Why don't you go ahead and drop your Twitter? Because I wanted to do that before on one of my podcasts, and I can never remember your exact handle because it's spelled weird, and it always messes me up.
It's spoken truth 92, and I think instead of an E, there's a 3.
That's the part that always throws me off. I always, because I always say
probably just confused everybody listening, so I'm sorry to all you listeners. You can yell at me later.
we'll put it in the description. It'll help them out.
Yeah.
Now okay, now we're into the questions I haven't written down because I don't want to throw you the random question until the very end.
All right.
But you aren't just like a long-time friend, but you're also a long-time listener. Like, you were involved all the way back when I did Masters of the Underground. So we're just going to kind of shoot the breeze a little bit and maybe throw in some fond memories that you have from when I did that. Because back then I did things live. I don't really do them live anymore. It's just easier for me to edit. But what were some of your favorite things that were involved with that? Because I may try to incorporate them on future episodes.
Honestly, I just like interacting. That was kind of fun to me. I mean, I know I produced a couple things for, that show and kind of everybody involved, and, that kind of, I wouldn't say it fell apart, but we just kind of went our own way, but that whole thing was kind of fun to me.
Yeah, it didn't fall apart. I think my only issue back then was I just had too many people that were trying to get involved, and then after a while it was like some people, I'm not going to name names or get into drama, but some people were trying to do their thing where they felt like it was their show, and it's like, no, you need to remember who started this. So it kind of just spiraled out, and then eventually it turned into like the Twitch streaming. I tried to adapt into that, and then eventually it came full circle and turned into this, what I'm doing now. But I kind of like this because I like when I do the podcast, I like being able to, it's basically like even though it's not face to face, the over the phone with just one-on-one, it feels a lot more personal when I'm interviewing people.
I feel like that's almost better too, because it makes it less, I guess, awkward, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, because when you have if you have too many co-hosts on, even if I tell them ahead of time, okay, what we do is you ask one question, then they'll answer it, and then I ask the next. Sometimes they still don't always realize when it's their turn, and then you have to get on and say, hey, it's your turn. So
right.
It's a lot easier to not have to do that and to just be able to talk and have everything written out and prepared ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, you gave it a shot, and it is what it is.
Right. And do you have any, like, whenever you're going to record or do an instrument or anything like that, do you have any kind of things that you would consider like a pre-recording ritual that just kind of stick with you that you've just done?
Not really. I just kind of, go into it. Once I'm in that mode, I just, go at it, because I just don't stop. Even when I get home from work, I just instantly hit the studio. If I make a beat, I make a beat. If I don't, I don't. It happens or it doesn't.
Right. So there isn't really anything in specific. You just kind of just hit the grind and go right at it.
Right.
All right. We still have a few minutes here, but I'm going to go ahead and hit you with a random question, which, I mean, the last like 3 questions were random too. I want you to name an artist who has passed away that you wouldn't mind if they haunted you, and one who you would absolutely not want to haunt you.
That's interesting.
Hey, I told you for old time's sake, I had to hit you with something that was going to be tough and bizarre.
It's fine, because I'm into the paranormal stuff too. So it's funny you hit me with that. One I wouldn't mind haunting me, probably Tupac, and one I don't want haunting me because of who he was, Biggie Smalls.
That's actually so funny because of, like, if you think about it, say Tupac was haunting you, then you definitely wouldn't want Biggie Smalls haunting you at the same time.
Right.
Considering.
I mean, I know it's kind of contradictory, but, and Biggie, I feel like he would be more aggressive about things. I mean, I'm not saying Tupac wouldn't be. I'm not saying he wouldn't be cool, but,
Right. I'm surprised you didn't be like, you like just go completely off wall and you're like, you would or wouldn't want like Elvis haunting someone that completely.
Yeah.
Like, this would be awkward. Yeah, it was funny. I think my mind's on the paranormal stuff right now because I'm really excited, but I also have that interview tomorrow with the paranormal investigator Leslie. So it's like, so basically, I asked you a question that I probably would ask her, like, who would you want to haunt you? But I just changed it for you, artist wise, because I thought it was cool. It would give you something to think about.
Yeah.
All right, man. We don't have a whole lot more time here, but I want to give you a chance to shout out your YouTube, this will be up on your YouTube and my YouTube as well. And also give people a link to where they can get a hold of your instrumentals, because I know you just started up a website. Oh, we're supposed to be talking about your new logo too. So that's going to give us a few more things to talk about. Let's start with the links for the YouTube and where people can find your instrumentals, or where they can find you if they would like to get a beat from you.
All right. My YouTube is Spoken Truth, again, spelled with a 3. Twitter is Spoken Truth _ and then with the 3 again. I'm sorry, you guys can yell at me later. Instagram is different. It's The Spoken Truth. Pretty easy to find. And my BeatStars, which I have a new logo for, made by A-Star H13 on Twitter. She makes awesome graphics. If anybody needs one, you should hit her up because it's definitely worth paying for. And then my BeatStars page is, I think, just Spoken Truth with the 3.
And so, okay, let's talk about the logo, because I think you're debuting it like after, like once this is uploaded is when you're debuting it.
Right. I'm just gonna just kind of throw it up there, essentially.
Okay, so for this specifically, since people are going to be listening this and not necessarily, I mean, if they see yours, they'll see it. They probably won't see yours on mine because of mine's all audio. So why don't you describe as best as you can the logo for the listeners,
All
and
right.
what makes it stand out to you?
It's supposed to be the Cadillac logo, and why I chose that is because it's classy, it's sophisticated, it's supposed to mean something. The colors I chose kind of signify something special to me, actually. The colors are purple and green. The purple being my girlfriend's favorite color, and second favorite color, but the green is actually my favorite color. Might sound corny to some, but hey.
And it's just I believe it's just like it's spoken truth, so it's like the ST, right? It's not like your full...
and it just has beats under it, and it's kind of got like a graffiti look to it. Nothing really, crazy, but it's enough to do its job.
Would you have any plans of possibly in the future, if people really like it, turning it into like merchandise, like T-shirts or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm trying to set up a merch line. It's kind of hard for me to do because that's a whole new world to me, honestly.
Right.
But I'll see what I can do in terms of that, and I'll get links, whatever I need to get, and I'll obviously share it with the world.
All right, Spoken Truth, that's about all I have question-wise, but I do want to thank you so much for coming on the line. And if you have any kind of shout-outs or anything you want to do, anybody in particular that you would like to shout out, I want to give you time to go ahead and do that before we get off.
All right. First and foremost, shout out to you for, having me on, even though we've been friends for 2 years. Shout out to A*H13 on Twitter. Shout out to G-Shine, who I've worked with in the past. Shout out to Why So Serious, who I've done numerous collabs with. He's the homie. He's got bars, and if you want to do a collab with him, hit him up because he does it in a French twist.
Nice. Why So Serious is a cool dude. I actually gamed with him the one time on Call of Duty Blackout. We played a game together.
He's pretty down to earth, even though he may seem kind of, out of the ordinary.
I mean, I'm out of the ordinary too, so that's probably why I mesh with people like him. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes with the territory, just kind of mix it, mix it up and just go along with it.
Yeah, and it makes him stand out among the crowd, so to speak. But he's a really cool really cool dude. People should definitely look into his work.
I know. He's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it.
He has the it factor.
Yeah. Now I'm getting texted.
Hey, it's at the end of the interview, so it's the perfect time. All right, homie. Yeah. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. I'll get you the original file, but then obviously I'll do like my editing, my intro, and all that stuff, and upload it sometime today. Hopefully, this is going to be a bonus pod, so there's not going to be any number on it, but it's a bonus pod, so people are going to enjoy it either way.
It's fine with me. People are going to hear it.
All right, thanks a lot, homie, and you have a good night.
No problem. You too. Bye.
Hey guys, Tony Source Rex here. Spoken Truth asked me to play a beat that he just made for you guys. This is the debut of that beat, so it's a special little bonus at the end of this episode. Be sure to check out Spoken Truth on Twitter and check out his website for more beats if you're interested. And until next time, guys, stay Rexy.